And we now shift focus from that to an actual war. In the early hours of Sunday, Kyiv once again found itself under a barrage of Russian missiles and drones. This attack was not just another strike in a long series of assaults, by the way. This one carried perhaps a deeper, more ominous message, one that raises a very critical question. Is this Russia's retaliation for Ukraine's bold incursion into the Kursk region? And more importantly, what does this mean for the future of the war? Let's break this down for you. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has claimed on the platform X that the latest Russian attack on Kyiv was carried out with a suspected North Korean missile. As per reports, the attack killed 2 people and injured 3, including a 12-year-old boy. Residential buildings, farm buildings, and vehicles were damaged. In fact, according to Zelensky, this week alone, the Russian army has launched more than 30 missiles and over 800 guided aerial bombs. He has labeled Sunday's attack a deliberate terrorist attack against Ukraine, quote unquote. But beyond the strong rhetoric lies a sobering reality. This is not an isolated incident. Russia's strike was not limited to Kyiv. It was part of a broader, coordinated offensive that saw 57 drones unleashed across Ukraine. And out of these, Ukrainian air defenses reportedly managed to shoot down 53. While this might seem like a victory of sorts, let's not forget what these numbers actually represent. They represent lives saved, of course, but also the unrelenting pressure that Ukraine is under and the staggering resources it takes to defend against these constant barrages. And then there's the matter of those North Korean-made KN-23 missiles. Ukrainian Air Force saying that Russia fired 4 of these missiles, but the fate of 3 of them remains shrouded in mystery. Were they intercepted? Did they reach their targets? The lack of clarity on this point only adds to the uncertainty. The assault on Kyiv was part of a wider campaign that targeted 11 Ukrainian regions. The Kyiv Independent, citing local authorities, reported that this drone attack caused casualties in 7 different areas. The head of Kyiv's city military administration, Sergei Popko, said on Telegram that this was the 2nd time since August began that Russian forces have targeted Kyiv with air attacks. Military experts have said that this is not just about Kyiv or even just about Ukraine. This is part of a larger, more dangerous tactic by Moscow. The Russian Foreign Ministry made it clear on Sunday that it will give a direct response to Ukraine's surprise incursion into Russian territory, including the massive missile attack on the Kursk region, promising a tough response. Sunday's attack may just have been the start of a series of attacks by Moscow that have far-reaching implications. Maria Zakharova, the spokesperson for the Russian Foreign Ministry, has said that those responsible for the attacks on Russian soil would be held accountable. And while her words may seem like the usual rhetoric, there is an underlying threat that's impossible to ignore here. Russia, it seems, is preparing for a significant escalation, given the actions of the Ukrainian military over the past 24 hours. In fact, according to Zakharova, Ukrainian forces have carried out a large-scale drone attack on several Russian regions, including Belgorod and Voronezh, underscoring Ukraine's determination to push the conflict into Russian territory. In fact, the governors of Voronezh, Kursk, Belgorod took to their Telegram channels regarding the Ukrainian attacks. According to Russia's state news agency, 11,000 people had been evacuated from the Krasnaya Yaroga district of Belgorod amid the growing threat from advancing Ukrainian forces. As per reports, the surprise attacks could be aimed at gaining leverage in possible ceasefire talks after the US election in November. Now, let's just pause here and consider what all of this really means, the gravity of what's playing out. You see, for months now, Ukraine has been on the defensive, fending off Russian advances and struggling to protect its cities and people. But now we are seeing a shift. Kyiv seems to be taking the fight to Russia. This is a bold, risky strategy that could actually change the dynamics of the war in unpredictable ways. And then there is always this critical question, what happens next? What lies ahead? Moscow does not take provocations lightly, and its response is likely to be severe. In fact, in a public statement, the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, said that the main goal for the defense ministry is to squeeze out Ukrainian troops from Russian territory, and that Russia will respond to the attacks. Listen in.
The enemy will certainly receive a worthy response, and all our objectives will undoubtedly be achieved.
So where does this leave us? On one hand, Ukraine's bold strategy of carrying the fight to Russia shows resilience. But on the other hand, it's also a strategy fraught with danger. And as we watch these developments unfold, one thing is absolutely clear. The war between Russia and Ukraine is far from over, and the road ahead is uncertain. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.